Hi folks, this is Nicole from Asheville Wellness Tours. I'm excited to introduce the latest episode in our weekly series, Bite-Sized Moments of Zen. This is an invitation to pause wherever you are and whenever you can in your busy day and enjoy practices with local wellness experts from our living rooms in North Carolina to yours. Today I'm excited to introduce Sarah Marcus, the owner of Laughing Cosmos Studio. Today, Sarah shares a yoga practice, 15 minutes, with all of us who could use a little opportunity to move our bodies. Maybe we're doing a lot of scrolling, a lot of sitting. This practice intends to balance both of those. As always, if you want to jump ahead to the practice, I'll include the timestamp in the description. Otherwise, sit back and enjoy getting to know the person behind the practice as we meet Sarah. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Sarah.
Hi, Nicole.
Y'all, we have Sarah Marcus with us this morning. I'm so excited, Sarah, to have you with us. And I'm wondering if you can do the intro for yourself. Tell me a little bit about what you do and how you came to do it.
Yeah, thanks. And thanks for having me. Thanks for doing this. It's really good to see you. So I offer weekly public yoga classes in addition to the privates that we do with the wellness tours and taking people around on their vacation. I also do regular yoga classes at West Asheville Yoga. And those are typically where we get a lot of locals, but also we get a fair number of visitors to the city too. So I'm used to offering yoga classes to sort of a variety of folks. Never really know who's going to show up, which I kind of like.
I really love that. West Asheville Yoga to me feels warm, inviting, cozy, and community oriented. I always feel like if I'm going for a real local community vibe, that's the place I want to go.
Yeah, it's a great place. It definitely feels like a home.
How did you come to teaching yoga in the first place?
Well, it all kind of started in college when I had to take a PE class. And I was terrified of doing that because at the time I was really heavy and I was really uncomfortable in my body, super self-conscious, and I could not imagine physically moving for an hour, especially in the company of other people. And I had to fill this PE credit to graduate. I'd procrastinated it like as long as I possibly could. And also I was starting to internally come to this realization that something had to change. And I didn't know what that was going to be. And almost out of desperation, I thought I'd try yoga because yoga people seem pretty nice. And maybe, I could just stay in the background and not get noticed. And so I can remember I talked my roommate and best friend into coming with me. She signed up for the same class. And I can remember her yelling that we were going to be late because I wouldn't stop smoking and drinking a soda. I was so nervous and I was so just in my own, whatever. So I reluctantly put it down and walked in and just was ready to be miserable for an hour. And I kind of was miserable for part of that class. But through a lot of it too, I felt a sense of belonging that I could not explain. And the teacher was kind and she was open and loving and just kind of met everybody, not just me, but everybody where they were. And so that made an impact. And eventually it wasn't so much yoga then, but I got to be more and more active. As years went on, I became more and more into a healthy lifestyle. And it became, again, super important when I had my first child. I got really motivated to okay, this is the time where it's not just me. I have to take care of someone else. And that inspired me to get really into practicing yoga myself again. So I developed my practice and really fell back in love with it. From there, decided that I really wanted to share that with other people. Yoga had sort of planted a seed that really changed my life, not just made me healthier and in my body, but just completely changed my worldview, made me feel like I could handle life And it really inspired me and provided a way for me to sort of help take care of other people. All the people that I loved, yoga really helped me show up for them. And so I just wanted to share that, and I wanted to do it from a place of like really knowing what I was doing. So I looked around for yoga schools. A friend recommended I try West Asheville Yoga. She took me to try a class. It happened to be Michael Johnson's class. I absolutely loved it, even though at one point we were in Warrior 3, which is when your face is sort of looking down at the floor and you're trying really hard to balance. And I thought I was sweating, and suddenly I realized I was drooling. I was so like into it, trying so hard. And, meanwhile, I think it was probably him pointing out like, there's a balance, like not too much effort, find steadiness and ease. And anyway, I was just hooked. I loved it. I loved West Asheville Yoga. I signed up for their teacher training, started that, got trained. That was about 8 years ago. So I've now been teaching yoga for about 8.5 years. There's some more, but those are the highlights.
Those are some pretty good highlights. I love how the discovery of yoga by accident, put the cigarette and the soda down. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I like to tell people in some ways I'm the most unlikely of yogis, I never thought that that's something I would be into, and much less like a wellness person, like there's a real moment of truth for me sometimes. I go, wow, like that was not always the case in any way, shape, or form. So it's cool to get that, to have a different perspective.
And while you're sharing this information and passion and lifestyle and all the things that are wrapped up into this practice of yoga, while you are sharing it, what is the why? Like, what's at the heart of your mission and why you do what you do?
Well, it sounds really corny when I say it, but I mean, honestly, it's just love. And it's a powerful personal experience to get to teach someone, just to get to show up for someone is really powerful. And I don't take it lightly. It's a way of sort of encountering myself in some ways that I really value, to get to see people who might be struggling with some of the same issues that we all struggle with, and to meet them in a place that is completely free of judgment, and really it's an embodied sense of what I think we all always have access to, but we just need to remind each other sometimes that, we can show up in our living rooms or, one day again at the yoga studio, and we don't have to be a certain way. The whole practice is just about making space to be as you are, and to really, to not just tolerate it, but to love it and to give it space. And it's just a joy to be able to sort of make space for people so that they get to experience that. And that's really what I do. That's all I do. I just show up, and then try to be present to folks. And if they take something away from that, then it's something that they've had. I just was lucky enough to be able to sort of point it out to them.
Yeah. I love that. I feel like it's a common thread in a lot of the interviews, this idea of accessing joy and love in all of these different ways, and that there are a lot of paths you can take to unlock it, and just trying as many as you need to until you find the one, and then for you holding that space for the unlocking for people. I just think that's magical and powerful and wonderful, and grateful to know that you're out there doing it.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. It's a joy to do it.
And as you're doing that, I know one of the big things we have to focus on is self-care, right? Put your mask on first, show up for yourself so that you can show up for others. And I'm wondering, just to put a timestamp on this, we're right in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis. We're at stay-at-home orders here in Asheville, and I know a lot of instructors in wellness practitioners, the great joy is connecting with people and having that intuitive interaction and holding the space in person. And a lot of folks are shifting to do that in the virtual space. And I'm grateful for all of the technology. And to circle back around, in this chaotic moment where everybody's pivoting and trying to figure out new ways to do things, I'm wondering if there are resources that you are leaning on now to take care of yourself so that you can show up in these really lovely ways for other people.
Yeah, absolutely. The things that I'm leaning on are sort of like just ways that I can build in consistency into my schedule. So walks have become really important to me. I try to get out and walk at least once a day. We started a garden and built some garden beds, which is something that we've done a lot in the past, and then kind of just went to dabbling and didn't really grow much. And so we're rediscovering just like how nourishing simply planting a garden can be. And then of course my own yoga practice. I'm finding it so important to not just practice so that I can teach and lead a class, but also just remembering how important it is for me to just practice for me. And so, and again, like putting on the face mask first, like I think that's essential for not just, of course, yoga teachers, but that we all find ways of remembering, like, we got to take care of this. This is a member of the family too. So as much as we all want to help our family, like one of the best ways we can do that is just take care of us.
Yeah, I think that's so important to remember.
Yeah.
Grateful for that. Yeah. And in that consistency, I know we mentioned that you teach regular classes, and I'm so excited that today we are going to get a little behind the scenes view of that. I think we're going to participate in a guided meditation with you and then take a look at one of your classes. So I'll turn it over to you if you want to start us with the meditation.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so for this meditation, you'll just want to make yourself comfortably seated. Alternatively, you could lay down for this. That's totally fine. Most importantly is just let go of any sense of how meditation has to look. So let yourself just be comfortable. If it works for you, you can close your eyes, but if not, feel free to just pick a point that's on the floor and softly gaze at it. And then simply turn your attention to breathing in and out. You don't have to change how you're breathing. In fact, notice any tendency that you might have to sort of step in and control the breath right away. Instead, just watch as you breathe in, breathe out. And just notice any distractions or any tendency to get lost in a thought. And come right back into breathing in and breathing out. And now we'll start to exert a little conscious control over the breath. So without force or strain, just breathe in deeply. And then breathe out. We'll repeat that, just letting your inhales match your exhales. See if you can focus exclusively on the real-time sensation of how it feels to breathe in and breathe out. You might still notice some thoughts or distractions, and that's fine. But as much as you can, let your awareness completely rest on the breath. Now I'll guide you through a little meditation, a loving kindness or metta meditation. If at any point your mind gets too distracted by my words, you can always come right back to just simply breathing in and breathing out. With your next breath in, please bring to mind the image of a being whom you love completely. Could be real or imaginary, human or not. Take a couple conscious breaths in and out, and just notice the space of the heart, how the heart feels with the image of this being in mind. And when you're ready, imagine extending these words to that being. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be free. And take a moment just to notice the real-time sensations in your body. And then taking another breath in, bring to mind the image of someone who's difficult for you, someone whose behavior can be challenging or annoying. And as you feel yourself breathe in, imagine extending these same words to this being. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be free. Notice any resistance to this or any trace of judgment, and just let it be as it is. Feel yourself comfortably breathing in and out. And when you're ready, hold the image of a being whom you feel neutral about, someone you don't know very well. Maybe you've only seen a picture of. And imagine extending to this person, may you be happy, may you be safe, may you be free. And then just take a moment to notice your own internal state. Breathing in and breathing out. And now imagine the image of you exactly as you are. Everything that you know about yourself, externally, relationally, internally, all the many layers of you. And imagine extending these same words to yourself. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be free. And take a moment and just let these words wash over you, absorbing them as much as you can. And as you continue feeling the body sensations of breath entering and leaving, imagine that you can extend this blessing out beyond the boundaries of you, beyond the boundaries of your home. Imagine that you can send this blessing out to the whole world, happy, safe, free. And as you stay and breathe a little longer, just keep sending this blessing out to the furthest reaches that you can imagine. May all beings everywhere be happy, safe, and free. Allow yourself to sit with this for as long as you like. Whenever you feel ready, You can welcome yourself back into your body, taking some deeper and deeper breaths. Eventually blinking open your eyes, taking in all the colors and shapes around you.
I love that this is a really wonderful segue into the practice, and I'll just leave some space for us to transition there.
Cool. Yay. I'm Sarah Marcus. I'm a yoga teacher at West Asheville Yoga Studio. And since the studio is closed right now, I want to offer a practice that you could do right in your living room. So if you have fancy props like a yoga block and a strap and a bolster, have those nearby. But if you don't, then what you have at home will be just fine. So make sure you have some couch cushions, maybe a big thick book, and a scarf or towel on hand. Okay? When you're ready, come join me seated. Sit in any way that feels comfortable to you. And then begin to let your awareness rest on your breath. So just breathing in and knowing that you're breathing in. Breathing out, feel yourself breathe out. Keep that steady, even breath in through the nose and out through the nose. For this practice, we'll set an intention of bringing a little bit more spaciousness and freedom into our body. If you've been sitting a little more or scrolling a little more on your device, this is a great way to bring some movement into your day, bring some spaciousness and freedom into your body. We're going to take ourselves through some simple twists. So next time you notice you're on an inhale, lift your arms up overhead. As you exhale, twist to one side. Inhale back through center. Exhale, twist to the other side. Don't rush here. Let yourself move slowly and mindfully. That's the biggest part of the practice. Breath is primary. Because by tapping into this breath, bringing some regulation to it, a little sense of control over it, we can actually soothe and regulate how we're feeling. Keeping stress in check. It's a great thing these days, any day. Give yourself one more twist to each side. One, inhale back in through center. Exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. Shift over your shins. And set yourself up for some cat and some cow postures. So breathe in, let your belly hang. Flare the pelvis, lift the crown. Exhale, push down into the floor and get super round in your upper back. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Inhale, neutral spine. And then step your right foot forward. Come into an easy lunge. So if you like, you can always pad that left knee. Inhale, lift your arms. Exhale, bring the palms to touch. Look up towards your thumbs. And then find an element of back bend. So bringing the thumbs back, keeping the gaze at the thumbs. Find extension in the spine with an inhale. Exhale, frame your front foot. Pull it back for a modified plank. Or you can extend both legs, come onto curled toes, and then bend your elbows straight back, all the way down. Inhale for a back bend. Push lightly through your hands. Exhale, slide your hips back and up. Neutral tabletop again. Left foot forward. Right knee stays down. Inhale, lift both arms. Exhale. Slide the shoulders away from the ears. Press the palms together. Inhale, look at the thumbs and then work them back behind you for a back bend. Exhale, hands down. Plank or modified plank.
Lower slowly down. Push lightly through your hands again, lifting the chest, look up towards the ceiling. And then exhale. Send your hips back. Take a child's pose for 5 breaths. Breathe in. And breathe out. And continue like that. Breathing in. Peaceful, easy breath. Breathe out. Child's pose is a great pose to come back to if you ever feel like things are just a little too intense. Let yourself rest here. When you're ready to continue moving, we'll make our way into a downward facing dog. And then look forward between the hands, step there, lift up halfway, pressing the hands against your shins, and then exhale, forward fold. Now, let's go ahead and bend the knees if that makes this forward fold a little more accessible. You can make lots of space for your torso by stepping the feet a little wider. With an inhale, roll all the way up to stand. Lift your arms, press the palms together, and then work the thumbs back behind you, back bend. Exhale, pause. Let your hands just come down in front of the heart. Take a moment, return to normal breath, breathing in, then breathing out. Inhale, lift your arms. Exhale as you fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, touch your mat, step the left foot back. Come into a high lunge. Right leg forward. Exhale, hands come down. Plank pose or modified plank, and lower slowly down. Inhale, lift up, reach up. Exhale, hips go back and up. Step left foot forward, lunge. And exhale, hands come down in front of the foot. Step forward, lift up halfway. Exhale and forward fold. So if you're feeling pretty flexible, this forward fold feels a little too easy, maybe you step on the palms of your hands, wiggling the toes all the way up to your wrist creases. And then exhale as you bend your elbows out. If that's too much, feel free to repeat that earlier forward fold. Knees can be a little bent. Release the hands, roll all the way up to stand. Inhale, lift up, reach back. Exhale, hands at your heart. We're going to take the feet nice and wide. Turn the big toes in slightly. Inhale, lean back, bring the hands to interlace at the low back. Exhale as you hinge forward. Pause. Check in with the low back. If things feel too sensitive there, you can release the hands. Let your hands come down to that big, thick book. Support yourself. Give your back all the support that it needs. If your low back's feeling just fine, you might keep those palms pressing super close together and straighten your arms. Eventually, maybe your fists touch the floor. Take 3 breaths in and out here. With an inhale, lift your torso. Keep the hands interlaced just a little bit longer. Lift the chest. This is a great pose to take anytime you feel like the shoulders are hurting from a little too much screen time. Just remember, keep the palms pressing towards one another. Okay, we're going to release this. Turn the toes out. Sink your hips low, and let that be a relative term. So whatever feels like a big stretch along the inner thighs, you've found it, okay? So if it's here, that's great. If you need to come down a little lower, let yourself sink the hips even lower. Shrug your shoulders up close to the ears, hands at the thighs. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, dip your right shoulder down through the center. Inhale, come up through the middle. Exhale, left shoulder dips. Don't rush. This is a great way to open up the hips, open up the inner thighs if you've been sitting a whole lot. This should be part of your daily practice. One more. Inhale, center, then straighten your legs, lift your arms. Exhale, bring hands down to the hips. Just heel toe the feet in. They're going to stay pretty wide as we come into Malasana, so a squat pose. Letting ourselves slide down an imaginary wall. Eventually come all the way down into a deep squat. So if this hurts or your heels are lifted, grab that book or whatever you have on hand, support your heels. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, press palms together, elbows against the inner thighs. And then release, let the hands come down behind you for some support. Feet stay wide, drop your knees over to the left. Inhale the knees up through the center and then over to the right. Bring the knees back in through center. Shift forward. You'll see me turn. You can stay exactly the same. We're just going to find our sitting bones. So as much as you can, avoid sitting on your sacrum. Find that little balance spot where you're on the sitting bones and then lean back. You can bring hands to the backs of your legs for extra support. If you don't need that, you can release the hands, maybe straighten the legs. Find anything, any version that works for you for Navasana pose. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, shift onto one sits bone. Knees go to one side, hands to the other. Even out the knees, even out your fingertips. If you want to work harder, give yourself some taps. Inhale, come back in through the center, and then over to the opposite sits bone. Inhale, center. Exhale, feet to the floor, hands to the backs of your legs. Roll all the way down. Hug your knees into the chest. Take a happy baby pose. Hands to the shins, tops of the feet, or the toes, whatever feels most available. Rock a little side to side. Release the toes or whatever you're holding on to. Step your feet down onto the floor and then cross your right knee on top of the left. Hug your knees in again. You can stay here. Here's where a strap might be handy. If you don't feel very flexible here, take your strap and wrap it around your shins. Hug your knees in. Super flexible, folks. You're going to bring a hand to each ankle and just give yourself a little pull in. Everybody rock side to side. Come back to your breath awareness, breathing in. And then breathe out. Let your exhales take longer than your inhales. Knees move up through center and then uncross. Cross left over right this time. Hug your knees in. Bring your hands to the ankles or the shins or your strap. Let this practice be yours. Rock a little side to side. Uncross your legs. Step the feet wide and then drop your knees over to the right. Open your arms up and shift your gaze to the left hand and let your eyes close. Breathe in, move your face towards center, knees to the center. As you breathe out, take the knees to the left and gaze towards your right. Allow your eyes to close. Notice how long your exhales can be. Breathe in and look towards center. Bring the knees towards center. And then find Shavasana pose. You can let the knees just fall in and take your rest. Or perhaps extend your legs. Let your feet flop open. If your mind is super busy, you can stay with the breath awareness, harnessing your mind to the breath, letting the breath just slow down. Eventually, you might turn off awareness of the breath entirely and just completely relax. Stay in your Shavasana pose for as long as you can. Thanks so much for practicing with me today. Thank you. Namaste.
That's awesome.
So I hope everyone enjoyed our meditation leading into practice and coming back together here at the end. I always like to ask if folks want to connect with you beyond this or dive further into what you're offering, how do they find you?
Thanks for asking. The best place to find me currently is through West Asheville Yoga. That's where you can access all of our classes, including some totally by donation classes that folks, no matter what you can or can't pay, you are welcome to access. And you can also find some more resources on my website, which is laughingcosmosstudios.com, or you can find me on Instagram.
Awesome. Thank you again for being with us today and for your offerings. And I cannot wait to see your face in person again and give you a big old squeeze.
Oh, same here, Nicole. Thank you so much for doing this and all that you're doing to build our community right now.
I will see you soon and be well until then.
Great. Thank you. You too. Bye.